Okay. So for our first of two presentations tonight, we have just a really quick presentation from Jenny Ruman from Coloplast. There is a new product that she wants to talk to us about.
I do. You want me to go ahead now, Megan?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I may have met some of you at the last symposium they had at Metro back in the fall, but my name is Jenny Ruman. I work for Coloplast, and we make a lot of catheters, but specifically, I'm here to talk about intermittent catheters. We've been around for a long time, and we're the leader in catheters, so you may recognize some of the hydrophilic catheters that we do offer. These are two of our standard straight tip catheters that we make. But as far as being a little more discreet, some of you females might be familiar with our lipstick catheter. We call it that because that's what it looks like, right? You'd never think this was a catheter. Same thing with some things that we offer for our male patients, a catheter that might look like this, that you can easily kind of put in your pocket or hide away and doesn't necessarily look like medical equipment that you're carrying around. So I don't know how many of you catheterize using a bag attached to your catheter, but that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. In fact, there it is. On the floor where it belongs. But this is our latest catheter, and it's called SpeediCath Flex Set. So this is a flexible tip catheter with a bag attached. So I'll just kind of open it for you real quick. This is kind of hard on video, but anytime you see turquoise with Coloplast, you'll know that's an action item. So basically, you're just going to want to peel open the packet. Okay, you'll pull the catheter out. There's no liquid. There's nothing inside this bag. This is completely empty. But this is what the catheter looks like. Okay, so kind of back up here. Here's the catheter, and then there is a 1,000 milliliter bag attached to it. So you just kind of unwrap the bag. I'm going to show you the tip. I'll show you that again here in a minute. But you'll notice with this catheter, I don't know if anybody has seen the other one that was available, there's actually saline water inside this sleeve here, and that's to keep the coating of the catheter hydrophilic. So it just keeps it really slick for you. So as you're putting it in and taking it out, it's going to remain slick for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is drain the water out of this catheter before you use it. And you'll see on the bag here, here's some more turquoise. It'll show you there's a little notch. It's actually a little circle here. You're just going to want to break that little tab. And I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but the water is actually draining out of the catheter and just going into the bag. Okay, so that was the first step. We just want to get all this water out. So as you're cathing, you're not going to spill water all over yourself. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is twist off the top. And you'll see the tip is a little bit different than a typical catheter tip, and that's because it's flexible. So it bends in 90 degrees in every direction. So it kind of has a bulb on the end too. So as you're cathing, and if you have, you know, any resistance to when you're cathing, this just really helps it find its way because it is a flexible tip and it's the only one like it on the market. So as far as using, you guys are more expert than me, but you would just insert the catheter into the urethra, and then you would hold the catheter with this hand, right? So you're going to hold this gripper. This gripper does not move. So this blue on the end. So we're going to hold everything in one space, and then you guys can put your hands all over this catheter. So if you like to do a pinch and inch, or if you've got dexterity issues at all, I mean, you could use your whole hand. Work with your occupational therapist on what would be the easiest way to insert that catheter. But again, the main thing is that flexible tip, and that bulb on the end just really makes it for a smoother experience. So you would insert that. Then when you're done filling the bag or, you know, emptying your bladder, you just remove the catheter. You can put the lid back on top. And then if you would want to, you can actually drain the bag by following this arrow. Is the arrow on both sides? Here's another turquoise, right? So you're just going to want to tear the bag open. There's a nice handle here. so that you can walk over to the commode and then just drain the bag, then into the toilet as I'm draining that water all over my desk. But you would just drain it and then it's completely ready to go. And if you're out in public and you want to be really discreet about it, once you drain it, you really can fold this back up nice and neat and put it back into this package. And there's actually a way for you to kind of fold the top over and seal it back up. So you can kind of really get it all nice and compact. You can put this back in your jacket pocket and dispose of it when you want to or can. So this has not even been out a month. It's called SpeedyCath Flex Set again. So anytime you think of a set, it's because the bag is attached to it. So just it's all in one. So if you've been experiencing UTI after UTI and you're looking for a closed system, this might be a good option for you. I don't know if anyone's ever been introduced to the one prior to this. This is the same catheter without a bag attached to it. It's called Flex Coude. It is a coude, but it's the same idea. It just doesn't have the bag attached. So it's still filled with water, still has a sleeve that you can put your hands all over. Still has the flexible tip, but it just doesn't have the bag attached. So I don't know if anyone's ever tried this. This is a favorite of end users, patients that are using catheters. So there's a couple options. So if you guys would want samples of this to try, you can get them. I will email Megan a link. Because it is a catheter, it does require a prescription, but you guys can request samples. So if you fill out the little link that I've sent you, then Travis, who is our inside catheter person, he will actually reach out to your urology clinic. Just get a verbal okay, like, yes, this is the French size they use, and then we'll be able to send you some free samples for you to try. There'll be some other goodies in the bags and things like that too, but reach out to Megan, I'll send that over if you guys would want to try it. So I appreciate your time, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I can include the link in the replay when we send this out, so.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Anybody
Megan.
have any questions or anything for Jenny? Questions, comments, concerns?
I was gonna say, they're more expert than me, so they're good. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Coloplast has been a sponsor of ours for different events, so we always appreciate you and your products and your knowledge. Awesome. So now we will move on to, I guess, our main feature. We have Albert Johnson, Alisa Murray, and Joseph Clark with us from the Greater Cleveland RTA. They're going to talk to us about the RTA, paratransit, all of the in and outs, and a little bit about the ADA as well. So thank you so much for coming. Do you need to share your screen?
Yes, we'll share our screen.
Okay.
Just from the people that are on camera, from a show of hands, if you can put up your, how many of you utilize RTA services by chance? No one. Okay, awesome. So this is all fresh info. So we'll share our screen now.
Yeah, you should be able to now.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So we're going to talk to you about GCA, RTA, paratransit, and ADA services. And we also have Joseph Clark and Alisa Murray on a call as well to discuss this. Alisa is our travel coordinator. Joseph is our community engagement specialist, and I am the ADA DEI specialist for the authority. So the topics we're going to cover today is the overview of discrimination laws, ADA eligibility regulations, paratransit rider process, and travel training. So just a quick background, the overview of discrimination laws. The Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 protect people with discrimination based on the person's race, color, national origin, and programs and activities receiving federal financial assistance. Funny thing, Ohio was a little ahead of the curve, and they actually came out with their Civil Rights Act of 1959, which basically encompasses everything, but was just on a state level. So Ohio was, like I said before, ahead of the curve. And then also the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, which ensures equal rights for persons with disabilities. So under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act was a 1990 mandate for public transportation, which became more made for people to become accessibility. Accessibility applies for the whole operating fleet in the RTA, as well as our passenger facilities, includes items as lifts, ramps, elevators, rapid stations, accessible bus stops, and information and communication. So in order to use our paratransit service, we had to have the same service for paratransit as we do for Fifth Route. And individuals must be within 3/4 of a mile of a bus stop in order to utilize the paratransit services, which our presentation will cover that a little bit later as well. So under the eligibility of paratransit regulations, determining whether or not an applicant is eligible for the ADA paratransit service offered by RTA, applicants must go through a functional cognitive ability to see if they can use the Fifth Route bus system or rapid system. And there's 3 categories of eligibility within those regulations. Joe, did you want to?
Yes. All right. So our first category of eligibility, any individual with disabilities who is unable as a result of physical or mental impairment, including a vision impairment, and without the assistance of another. Here's 3 examples here. Example under category 1 is a person with a cognitive disability who cannot navigate the system. A person with a vision disability who cannot navigate the system. And lastly, a person with a physical disability who cannot stand on a crowded bus or rail car when seats. Include priority seats may not be available and cannot be guaranteed.
The second category is individuals with a disability that needs assistance of a wheelchair or lift or a boarding device is able to such assist or board, ride, or disembark from a vehicle which is readily accessible and enabled by individuals with disabilities. So any individual that has a wheelchair or needs assistance boarding our vehicles can be able to use this category in order to access paratransit. So a couple of the examples are if you're eligible to use the bus system or he or she wants to travel, it's not 100% accessible. So if one of our systems is down and it's not going to be fits within, say, a year or so, you'll become eligible for paratransit by that system being down and not being accessible by your home or place of location. So similarly, a person needs to travel on a rapid or right rail that is not yet accessible. So just as I stated before, if the system's down or not yet built, we can you'll become eligible under category 2.
Our third category of eligibility is an individual with a disability who has a specific impairment related condition that provides such an individual from traveling to a board location or from a dismarking location on a system. And the example of that is the lack of a curb ramp or a reasonable alternative accessible path of travel, or a lack of sidewalk, again, or alternative safe accessible path of travel, such as steep terrain, ice, or of course, snow.
So what is paratransit? Paratransit is a door-to-door service for persons with disabilities that prevents them from using the Fifth Route service. So under paratransit, how do you become a rider? You can obtain, complete, and submit the paratransit application. And the way of obtaining the application is through our website, riderta.com, by calling our customer service line at 216-566-5124, or you can go to the main office on West 6 downtown and request an application. So the applications are actually found under the paratransit tab. If you go to the website, you'll see requests for paratransit services, and you can obtain an application.
Completing the application. The application is 2 to 5 pages. You'll need
I'm
license.
sorry. So the application is actually 7 pages. The applicant must complete pages 2 to 5, and you have to have your licensed medical professional, a doctor, or a healthcare professional fill out pages 6 and 7. Without filling out all parts of the application, we can't submit your application and process it. So once you do fill out the application, you have to mail it to our ADA eligibility office, which is the address is right here, 1240 West 6th Street. With functional testing, when your application is complete, an RTA employee will review it and determines the next steps. So you might have to go through a functional test. If it's unclear that you qualify for paratransit under the ADA guidelines, we'll request that you come in, and our travel coordinator, Alisa Murray, will provide a functional test to see where you lie on cognitive and your environmental skills, and as it relates to riding our service. And within that functional test, she can also look to see if you qualify for travel training or if you qualify for our fixed route disability program. So the functional test, all your our applicants have to be updated within 21 days. So if there's no decision within 21 days of receiving your application, you automatically qualify for paratransit. And there's always an appeal option within the decision of 30 days of notifying RTA if you decide to appeal that you did not qualify for paratransit services.
Paratransit fees. So with the valid paratransit card, door-to-door service current cost right now is $2.75 each way. A fixed route and a rail service are $1.25 for ADA eligible persons. For an all-day bus pass, it's $7. For a 5-trip pass, that's $13.75. And for a 7-day pass, it's $30. And for the monthly, it's $100 and $110.
So where can you go on paratransit? So you have to be within 3/4 of a mile through it from a fixed route bus stop. So basically the big bus, you have to, your residents have to be within 3/4 of a mile. If you are not, if your residence is not 3/4 of a mile within that location, you can still be eligible for the service by being at a location up to 5 miles from your home. So for example, if you're outside that 3/4 of a mile and you travel to one of our bus stops, we can still provide you service from that facility or business locations. And there's no restrictions on types of trip splits. You can book a trip to a medical provider. You can also book a trip to to do your shopping, your grocery shopping, or just go and visit family or friends.
Okay, so how do I book a trip? So you book a trip from 1 to 3 days in advance, book through our scheduling agent online, or even through a recurring subscription service. You can book booth by a pickup window or a drop-off time.
So who could ride with you? A personal care attendant, one other companion, and there is a fee for the personal care attendant or for the companion, which is $2.75, the normal fee for paratransit. However, a PCA can ride for free. So your PCA, if it's traveling with you and you need assistance with a PCA, they can also ride for free during that service. We also have reasonable modifications. So if you're required to, if you are in need of a reasonable modification, we have to go ahead and look at your request, and you can have that option to either go with that request by putting it in writing to RTA or requesting you need a reasonable modification while we are scheduling your trips through our operators. So what is not a reasonable modification? So fundamentally alteration of service, if it poses a direct threat to health or safety of others and not needed by the requester to use the service, and the undue financial administrative burden. And here are some examples of regional modifications. For our general fits bus, we have the operator can pull up to a reasonable distance from the bus stop. So if there's not a curve cut or a landing pad where it's accessible for our ADA customers to board the bus, they can you can request a reasonable modification that the operator can pull up a little bit further in the street to allow you to access the board, as well as helping riders with fare and allowing passengers with medical conditions to eat or drink and avoid adverse health consequences while riding our vehicles. For paratransit, so if you pick up at our hard maneuver stops and any specific interests, so you can request a reasonable modification if your interest of your apartment is at the very back of the building and not the front of the main lobby. You can put in for a reasonable modification for that as well, and to assist in extreme weather. So in order to request a reasonable modification, you'll be required to describe what you believe is needed in order to use our service. So you're not required to use the term reasonable modification when making the request, but the request of modification for any transportation service provided can be requested while you're scheduling your trip. So your request can be made through the determination process once you do apply for paratransit services, and while you're scheduling trips, and once you're completing the reasonable modification form, you can request it by downloading it on our website at riderta.com. So if your request is denied, you have the right to appeal that request for your decision being denied.
Passenger assistance. You may ask an operator to assist you to and from the vehicle to the door or lobby for apartment buildings of your residence, or to the first point of receptions for a public building. Operators may not enter a residence at any time. This is very common when it comes to the winter weathers that we may have in Cleveland. If your driveway might be an issue for the paratransit vehicle to get there, our bus operators will be able to assist you.
Service animals. So service animals are working animals that must be treated as an extension of that person. And for us operating under FTA guidelines in Title VI and Americans with Disabilities Act, service animals must be treated as an extension of that person and able to be permitted within our facilities and aboard all our vehicles without any question. However, if the service animal, the care and supervision of the service animals is the responsibility of the owner. So if there's a incident that happens and your service animal is not responding how it should be, you might be asked to exit the vehicle or to assist with your animal with getting them under control. Alisa.
All right. Oh, no, I was trying to unmute. All right. So my name is Alisa Murray, and I do travel training. We have a program at RTA. It's a free program for individualized or group instruction. We teach seniors and people with disabilities how to travel safely and independently while riding the fixed route public transit. Travel trainers help the customers on the buses, the rail, heavy rail, light rail, and you can learn skills for following a specific route. So typically to job or a school. You can go to the next one, Adrian. So travel training teaches riders how to plan a trip, read and understand route maps and schedules, recognize bus numbers, bus stops, landmarks, how to pay your fare, how to purchase bus tickets. We now have Easy Fare, which is an app on your phone, and tells you what stores you can go to buy our paratransit or our bus tickets at the whatever grocery store. We also show you how to get on and off the bus and cross the street safely. So as a part of the training, I actually go to schools for students with learning disabilities, and we actually go over how to read a bus schedule. So I bring the bus schedules to the students. We identify the schedule that's closest to the home, or when I'm at school, to the school, show the trainee north, south, east, and west, which column to look at based on where they're going. And we highlight the time points or which column they should look at for bus times. So we also go over how to use RTA's website. Our website is riderta.com. There is a plan a trip section in the middle of the screen when you go to riderta.com. You start by putting in your starting address, which may be your school, it may be your home, and then you put where is it that you want to go. So from there, you would change the date and time and click Get Directions. So once that comes up, I help the trainee read the walking instructions as well as pick which option works best for them. So when you click the Get Directions, several different options come up on the screen. Usually the first option is the one that has the least amount of walking. So how to get travel training, you can call the department directly. If you guys want the phone number, I can, send it out. It's 356-3039. We also have an online referral. So if you go to riderta.com under the Paratransit logo, down towards the bottom of the screen, if you click on travel training, you can actually type in all the information that you need to name, phone number. I have where you live and where you want to go. And sometimes it's like, what time do you need to be there? So it's pretty thorough, but you can, go to our website. We also do have a video on our RTA website. So again, it's under the travel training logo that gives you a general overview of RTA travel training program. So we have other resources. So the senior discount fare card. So if you're 65 and over, you get a discount on our fixed route. That does not apply to paratransit. It only applies to the big bus. You can go to the paratransit website, which is under the paratransit logo. Our contact numbers for our ADA office, 216-566-5124. Our customer service is 216-621-9500. So does anybody have any questions for any of us?
Okay, I just want to first and foremost just say thank you to all three of you guys for coming on this evening and giving us this presentation. It was very informative. Myself, I think I rode the paratransit once. It was an experience. I live in Lorain County, so I'm not sure if I would qualify for the RTA paratransit, seeing as we don't have the RTA out here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yes. So that's kind of rough. Yeah, Lorain County does not have a public transportation system, but you do have like a local, like what they call shuttle bus system, which could take you around Lorain County. I don't have any information on that, but if you just Google Lorain County shuttle services, you'll see a lot that come up that you'll be able to apply for and utilize those services. Unfortunately, you can't use the RTA because it is really for Cuyahoga County and Northeast, like in that region of a little bit in Lake County and a little bit in Summit, but mostly it's just predominantly Cuyahoga County.
Right, right. I understand. I actually have a buddy of mine. Thought he would have got on here tonight. He uses the paratransit all the time. I mean, every day. And I mean, so
Yeah.
he gets everywhere he needs to go utilizing the paratransit. So, I appreciate you guys and the RTA for, all the help that you do with, helping us get around the city, man.
Absolutely.
So
We appreciate that.
I did want to add, we do have some people who don't live in Cuyahoga County who have applied for paratransit. So what one person, they lived out of county, but they had a lot of doctor's appointments at the Cleveland Clinic. So what they did was they, like, say if you have a friend or something who lives in Cuyahoga County, you could literally, if you can get to the county, then they can pick you up from, so say the shuttle bus will take you like 5 miles from our nearest bus stop, then we could pick you up. So I have seen some people who don't live in Cuyahoga County apply for paratransit and get paratransit. It's just that you have to be picked up in Cuyahoga County. So if you can get there, like if you can get, I don't know if you got family or your buddy, if you can get there, then we can pick you up.
Oh, okay.
That has been, I do know a couple, they don't care where you live, but they have to pick you up in Cuyahoga County.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
And, I've heard a lot of stories where a lot of people from other counties have moved to Cuyahoga County for RTA services in itself. So it's one of the good benefits of living in Cuyahoga County that we do offer a paratransit services that is very reliable and that it opens up a lot of doors for people to access their community.
Alisa, I'm Don.
Hi, Don.
Are we looking to utilize only the paratransit, or are we looking to also ride the regular bus routes?
So that would be up to you. So if you want to learn how to ride the regular fixed route and you believe that you're able to get to the bus stop and ride, keeping in mind that you're not guaranteed a seat. So that's one of the things we talked about earlier. We can't guarantee you a seat on the big bus. Unfortunately, like I ride the bus to work every day. So you get a group of kids and they don't care who it is. And I don't want to blame the kids. Some people just won't get up and move. So you are not guaranteed a seat. But if you believe that you can ride the big bus, so you can even say you get approved for paratransit. If there's a day you feel good, you can walk down the street or however, even if you feel like, riding, because people get on, they ride their wheelchairs down the street or whatever, and they'll let the wheelchair on the bus. So then you're guaranteed a seat because they will ask people to move. You can use your paratransit ID to get half off on our bus, on our big bus. So you can have paratransit and still ride our fixed route service. So if it's something where you just right now say, yeah, I'd like to, every once in a while get on the fixed route. I got my wheelchair and I can, go down, give me a call. I'm trying to think. So maybe I'll send the person who started got the Zoom call together, send them the link to the paratransit, to the travel training referral. And maybe it's just where you just need a little help learning how to read the bus schedule or learning how to navigate our website. That's something that I do when I go out to the schools. And, we can go from there. Yeah, you can be approved for paratransit and still ride the fixed route bus.
Well, Lisa, that's the reason I'm asking that is that I've recognized the wheelchair symbols on the larger buses. And then I've recognized the door are the doors strategically placed in the back of the bus to utilize the elevator system on the bus?
So on the fixed route, the ramp comes out the front door.
We're talking about an elevator, not a ramp.
I'm sorry. So you're talking about getting on the fixed route bus? I'm not sure what you're
Yeah.
asking.
Yes.
So,
I think I see like the doors are always positioned. Are they positioned in the front of the bus or in the back of the bus? That would lift the wheelchair up.
oh, so the ramp comes out the front, you roll up the ramp. So the bus kneels down, our buses kneel, the ramp comes out, you roll up the ramp and you go inside the bus. So there's a ramp that actually comes out of the bus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're referring to the paratransit vehicles, the
No,
the
no,
people mover?
the larger
You mean
unit.
the fixed route,
That's correct.
Yes.
yeah,
there's gonna be
yeah,
a
the
ramp that comes out
ramps.
the front.
Yeah, they're ramps that come out of those buses.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So then after you're on the bus, on the fixed route bus, are
Mhm.
there wheelchair locking systems or are you expected to get into a seat?
No. So in the front of the bus, there's 3 seats that go sideways. Those seats actually lift up for the wheelchair. They don't want you to get out. And then there are locks in the bottom, like in the floor, that they can secure your wheelchair in place if you want. Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
no,
same
they don't make you get out.
paratransit as well. They will secure your wheelchair in place once you're aboard our vehicle.
Now, if you've scheduled your paratransit and when life gets in the way and you are unable to utilize it, when that paratransit is en route to your home or wherever you're agreeing to meet it at, do I call you quickly to cancel that, or how does that work?
So we like to have a little like a heads up. So if you cancel like 30 minutes outside of your window before
Correct.
your actual scheduled time, you won't be penalized. However, there is a penalized, we do go on a point system, which if you do cancel within so many minutes or just don't show up for your trip, you will be have points on your ID.
So you're
Which-
dinged that
Yes.
way. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, and I would recognize that, of course. So it may be like a 30-minute to whatever number we're given to give that a call to.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, I'm actually reading the comments. Somebody asked about the ramp. Is it the same as the lift, the paratransit? Okay, yeah, so it was answered. So yeah, the ramp is not the same as the lift. The ramp actually comes out of the bus and you roll up onto it. So it's not the same as our paratransits do go down, you roll up and it lifts you up into the vehicle. On the ramp, you have to roll yourself up. You're welcome.
Alisa, is it then that we would want to talk with you specifically to get an education in riding the bus?
Yes, you can, yes. So I'll send my email and my link. So yeah, so I do actual trainings, like right now, I go into schools, but then I have like trainings. I'm going next week to a place called the Edna House, which is a rehab center for women who were incarcerated. And they're from all different counties. So I'm showing them how to use our website because they're not from Cleveland. So yes, I do trainings and wherever, and if you want me to come like and walk you to the bus stop or, ride, just so you say, well, I'm not sure where that is, we do that. I do individual trainings as well. So that would be me actually coming to the home, and walking with you to the bus stop, getting on the bus, or if it's just, hey, just help me read, the different directions and walking directions that come out once you do the plan a trip section in RTA. So yes, you can call me.
And so we're looking at paratransit as being a door-to-door service.
Right. Paratransit is door to door. What I offer is you going actually to the bus stop and riding yourself.
Got it. Got it.
And I did put the link to our travel training webpage.
Oh, there it
in the
is.
chat.
Okay.
Any other questions?
We'll have
we appreciate-
we'll have questions after we are done with the Zoom meeting.
Okay, all right. Well,
And
feel
all
free to
of
reach
you
out,
need
and you guys have our link within the chat here. Feel free, don't hesitate. No question is a bad question. So thank you all for having us, and we appreciate you. And hopefully we can come back and give another presentation soon.
Thank you.
That would be great. Thank you very much.
Of course.
For your time. You all have a great evening.
Take care now.
Thank you.